It's astonishing how dangerous it is for women to say they are against encouraging children to be given drugs and even surgery to turn them into the opposite gender, if that's actually possible. Or even for women to say that they still want safe spaces for born women, like how about toilets for a start, or change rooms. You just think of the abuse copped by Maura Deeming in Victoria, Catherine Deves, New South Wales, or J.K. Rowling over in Britain. Here's another example. Melissa Ferguson is a councillor in country Victoria, the La Trobe City Council, and she posted stuff on her personal social media account that were deemed harmful to the transgender community. Another La Trobe City councillor asked that Ferguson be investigated for breaching the code of conduct through a supposed misuse of social media. An independent arbiter was called in. That arbiter said yes, Ferguson had broken the code and forced her to make a formal apology at a La Trobe City Council meeting last week. Councillor Melissa Ferguson joins me now. Melissa Ferguson, thank you so much for your time. What crime are you supposed to have committed?
Well, the allegations, obviously, that have been put before me is that my private Twitter account was somehow framed to be a personal attack on the community, which is against everything I believe, because I am for community. And it's been brought forward and it's obviously gone through the arbitration process now, and they've identified that that is offensive to the trans community.
Now, one tweet you're supposed to have said that you retweeted, you didn't write it, you retweeted it. Predators are hiding behind the rainbow and using it as a shield to prey on children. What's the point that you're arguing there?
I believe that people who are predatory on children will be in any sector of the community. I think it's dangerous to believe that any sector of the community is immune. And I think that it's always important that parents are aware.
Yes, but this was specifically, I guess, about the predators in the rainbow community. But my question really is, why is it up to the council to police what you write on your private social media?
Well, I would like to know the same thing also, because I believe that you should be able to exist as a human being outside of your role. I believe people were led to that. It did not have an organic following. It was actually completely unused until the first moment I used it to comment on another thing, and it had not been even utilised before that.
Oh, they were clearly watching you. But how is that against any rules? I don't get it. How can they have dragged you into the council and said, this is what you said? What next? What you go and say at a picnic? What you go and say in your kitchen?
Yes.
What is this?
That is exactly why I agreed to this interview. I thought long and hard about it. Anything I say by some people will be wrong because they want me silenced. That's no way to live as a human being. But also, it's more the framework of these things that concerns me. I mean, you've got an arbitration process, which I would like to see the political leanings of all the people that have had arbitration brought against them. It's a rather effective political process, but I'm not sure that it's always best for the community at large. I have a very
no. I looked up the background of the handpicked arbitrator. Why did you apologise? She found against you. I was totally not surprised, even though I don't think it's right that you should have even had a hearing. But why did you apologise?
Because if I don't follow the dictated sanctions, that is then the applicant may then apply for serious misconduct, and at that's worst, it could be you could be fired, I guess. And my council role is my only means of income. I need to put food on the table for my child, and I don't want to go down these avenues. Obviously. So I felt that by my legal advice that I'd received was to state that as it's stated. Therefore, the serious misconduct process may not be then followed, because I have followed the instruction, but I also have made it very clear in both of these dictated apologies that I also reserve my rights while seeking more legal advice.
Now, they say, well, look, you were speaking, you know, people might have thought you speak for the council. I think you'd have to be brain dead to think that something you post on your social media or retweeted on your social media accounts was you speaking for the council. I mean, I think that's simply ridiculous. But you were even ordered to get reprogrammed, you know, brainwashed, what have you. You had to attend diversity training to improve your conduct as a councillor, particularly in relation to the LGBTQIA+ community. Are you going to go?
I'll have to see how far I can go with my rights and the laws and what will happen in that space. It's an advantage to some that I may be in a lower socioeconomic bracket. But, you know, I find it patronising. I've worked with people of all genders, and I've even worked with trans people who I got along with quite fine. It's quite a personal attack on me as a person. But as the arbiter sees it, any retweet is an endorsement of their thoughts and therefore mine. I don't feel that's correct. In fact, if anything, a lot of the tweets were academic papers. As a mother and just as a naturally curious and philosophical person, I like to look up academic papers and study about subjects, especially if they're affecting my community. But somehow a lot of that has been submitted as offensive as well.
It's funny, you know, Latrobe City Council, I had no idea it was a hotbed of leftism and finger waggers and censors and all that. What's going on down there?
I don't know. This is my second arbitration case. Unfortunately, I couldn't take that further to VCAT at the time because I couldn't afford personally to do that. But the evidence was quite clear that a lot of the ABC article that was put out about me also was incorrect, and the evidence proved that. But I've had to carry a lot of this shame and humiliation in my local community, which is not, I think, a good process. And where does it end? That's my question here, Andrew. Where does this end, the vilification of individuals over and over? I'm quite a strong woman, so that's, you know, another thing. But what if somebody wasn't? And where does it stop? I can understand that they've recognised discourse in society they want to correct, but where does the vilification of the individuals that they choose end? Now, we've seen frameworks like this right through history. Let's put some parameters around this because we don't want to go down a Soviet-style system.
I agree. I think if someone's got a problem with your tweets, then campaign on it in your election. Let the voters decide, not have the council decide what councillors may or may not say on their private social media accounts. I think it's disgraceful, but that's Victoria Today. Melissa Ferguson, thank you so much for fighting back.
No problem. Thank you for having me.